It's the kind of heartbreak no parent ever wants to experience. A pain that cuts so deep, it echoes in the quiet moments, in the spaces where a baby's cry was supposed to be. And now, Jessa Duggar is opening up. After months of silence, raw emotions, and deep personal pain, she's finally speaking out about the loss that shattered her world, the loss of her baby. This is not just another celebrity story. This is a mother, a wife, a sister, and a daughter grieving in front of the world. And her courage to speak is bringing fans to tears and drawing attention to the silent suffering that so many families endure behind closed doors. Jessa Duggar, a familiar face to fans of 19 Kids and counting on, has always shared glimpses of her motherhood journey. From joyous pregnancy announcements to heartwarming birthday posts, Jessa let viewers in. But this time, what she's shared is different. In a heartbreaking update that left fans stunned, Jessa confirmed that she had experienced a devastating pregnancy loss. For many, the pain of such an event is kept private. But Jessa chose to speak, to give voice to her grief, and to let other women know that they are not alone. The timeline of events leading up to her loss paints a picture of silent suffering. Jessa had been unusually quiet on social media, leaving fans wondering what was going on behind the scenes. Those who have followed her journey closely noticed the silence, the lack of updates, the missing excitement that usually accompanied her pregnancies. When Jessa finally shared her story, it was through a deeply emotional video. She didn't use dramatic music or editing tricks, just her words, her face, and her truth. The simplicity of it made it even more powerful. In her own voice, she described the moment when she realized something was wrong, the hospital visit, and the soul-crushing words from the doctor. There was no heartbeat. Jessa spoke through tears as she recalled lying on the ultrasound table, hoping, praying for a flicker of life on the screen. But there was only stillness. The baby she had already begun to love, dream about, and prepare for was gone. She didn't sugarcoat the pain. She didn't try to be strong for the camera. Instead, she shared her vulnerability, her heartbreak, and her struggle to process the loss. The Duggar family has always been vocal about their faith, and Jessa leaned into that belief during the hardest moments. She said that her trust in God didn't make the pain disappear, but it did help her keep moving forward. She clung to verses, leaned on prayer, and found comfort in the idea that her baby was now in heaven. Still, faith doesn't erase grief, and Jessa made that clear. She talked about the moments of anger, the questions, the nights of crying, and the days that felt unbearable. Fans watched a side of Jessa they had never seen before, raw, unfiltered, and heartbreakingly human. What made this even more emotional was how it affected the rest of the Duggar family. Jim, Bob, and Michelle, who have experienced loss themselves, were reportedly crushed by the news. Sources close to the family say that Michelle wept openly, holding Jessa and praying over her. Even though the Duggar family has been through their fair share of public scandals and criticisms, when it comes to moments like these, everything else fades away. Behind the headlines, they are still a family. A family now mourning one of its tiniest members. Jessa's siblings were also deeply affected. Joanna, Jill, and Jinger reached out with emotional support. In fact, Jill, who has been somewhat distant from the family in recent years, reportedly reconnected with Jessa after hearing the news. Grief, as it so often does, brought them back together. Ben Seewald, Jessa's husband, was also deeply shaken. In the video, Jessa praised him for being her rock during the darkest days. She shared how Ben stayed strong for her and the kids, even when he was hurting just as much. He held her hand in the hospital. He sat beside her when the doctor broke the news. And he cried with her afterward. Fans of the couple were quick to show support. Social media was flooded with prayers, messages of hope, and stories from other mothers who had suffered similar losses. Many thanked Jessa for her honesty, saying it helped them feel seen, validated, and less alone. But even in the wave of support, there was controversy. Some critics accused Jessa of politicizing her loss. In her video, Jessa briefly touched on the experience of having to undergo a D&C procedure, a surgical intervention often used after a miscarriage. She clarified that while it's commonly associated with abortion, in her case, it was a necessary step to protect her health after her baby had already passed away. That small detail ignited a firestorm online. Activists and critics on both sides of the abortion debate jumped into the conversation, twisting Jessa's personal story into a public battleground. But Jessa never intended it to be political. In her words, she just wanted to share her journey and offer comfort to those going through the same pain. The public reaction was divided. Some praised her strength and honesty. Others criticized her for not saying more or for saying too much. But through it all, Jessa remained grounded. She didn't respond to the hate. She didn't feed the controversy. She stayed focused on what mattered most, honoring her baby's memory and healing with her family. One particularly emotional moment in her story came when Jessa described how her children reacted to the news. Her older kids had been excited about a new sibling. They asked questions. They dreamed out loud about who the baby would be, a brother or sister, what name they'd pick, what the baby's laugh would sound like. Jessa said breaking the news to them was one of the hardest things she's ever done. "We told them that the baby went to be with Jesus," she said, choking back tears. They cried. We all cried. Fans couldn't hold back their own tears hearing that. Parents especially resonated with the agony of trying to explain loss to young children. It's a conversation no one ever wants to have, and yet, in Jessa's home, it became their heartbreaking reality. As Jessa continues to grieve, she's also choosing to honor her child in meaningful ways. She hasn't yet revealed whether they named the baby, but she did say they hold that life as sacred. In their home, they light candles. They talk about the baby. They remember. Jessa is also using her platform to open up a conversation about pregnancy loss, a topic often shrouded in silence and shame. "We need to talk about this more," she said. "We need to let women know they're not alone." That message is resonating deeply. Fans are sharing their own stories, using hashtags like Miscarriage Awareness and Angel Baby to connect and support one another. What began as Jessa's personal sorrow is now part of a broader movement, one that values truth, grief, and healing. Meanwhile, TLC has not yet addressed the loss publicly. With Counting On canceled and the Duggar family no longer under the same spotlight, it's unclear if or when Jessa's story will be featured on any future programming. But fans believe it deserves to be told, not for ratings, but for the sake of awareness, connection, and compassion. Jessa's choice to speak up might inspire other Duggar siblings to open up as well. In fact, there's already speculation that Joanna, who has faced her own pregnancy struggles, may collaborate with Jessa to raise awareness about miscarriage and infant loss. It's a subject that has touched nearly every member of their large family in some way. And then there's the question of what comes next for Jessa. Will she try to conceive again? Is she taking time to heal first? For now, she hasn't said. And perhaps that silence is important. Grief has no deadline. Healing is not linear. And in Jessa's case, the next step is simply surviving the pain, day by day. What we do know is that Jessa is not hiding anymore. She's not burying her grief. She's sharing it, speaking it, and standing in it, boldly, bravely, beautifully. Her video ends with a message that left many in tears. "Even in the loss, I still believe in goodness. I still believe in hope. And I still believe that this little life mattered." And that's the heart of this story. Not the controversy, not the critics, not the headlines, but the love. The love of a mother for a baby she'll never hold, but will always carry in her heart. To every parent who has experienced this kind of loss, Jessa Duggar's story is more than just a tragedy. It's a reminder that you are not alone, that your baby mattered, that your pain is valid, and that healing, though slow and uneven, is possible. As the Duggar family continues to rally around Jessa, fans are hoping that this tragedy, as painful as it is, will spark deeper connection, not just within the family, but within every viewer who has ever carried a silent grief. Jessa's loss is a wound that may never fully heal, but her voice, her courage, and her love are lighting a path for others to follow, out of the shadows, into the light. Hello, lovely viewers, welcome to my channel. I am Karistina. Hope your day is so well. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.